Dolly Parton died today. She was 80. By tonight, you'll have read the numbers a dozen times. 11 Grammys, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame, and the Songwriters Hall of Fame. All three. 300 million books given away to children who never paid a cent for them. 7 decades of work. Those numbers are all true, and not one of them is the story. Because here's the thing. Nobody tells you about Dolly Parton, the woman you pictured just now. The wigs, the nails, the rhinestones, the jokes about her own chest. That woman was a character, a deliberate one, built by one of the shrewdest business minds American music has ever produced, and worn for 60 years like a costume over a suit of armor. She said so herself, constantly, and almost nobody listened. It costs a lot of money to look this cheap. That's a joke. It's also a business statement. So let's go back to where it started. Locust Ridge, Tennessee, 1946. A 2-room cabin with no running water and no electricity, and inside it, eventually, 12 children. Dolly was the 4th. Her father, Robert Lee, farmed tobacco and could not read or write. Her mother, Avie Lee, sang constantly, old ballads carried over from England and Ireland and Wales, the kind that tell a whole story in 4 verses. That's not a charming detail, that's the entire education. She learned song structure before she learned the alphabet. There's a coat in this part of the story, and you already know about the coat. Her mother stitched it out of rags people had given them and told her the story of Joseph while she sewed, so the girl walked into school believing she was wearing something out of the Bible. The other children laughed at her. She wrote it down 25 years later, and the last thing the song says is that she was as rich as she could be. Poor, but rich. She was the first person in her family to finish high school. She left for Nashville the day after graduation. On her first day in the city at a laundromat, she met a man named Carl Dean. They married in 1966, and they stayed married for 59 years, and in 6 decades of public life he almost never appeared beside her. She protected that. Completely. Now, the part where you find out how smart she actually was. For 7 years, she was the girl singer on Porter Wagoner's television show, his name on the marquee, her voice underneath it. And when she decided to leave, she did something almost nobody would have the nerve to do. She wrote him a goodbye letter, and the letter was a song, and the song was, "I Will Always Love You." She has always said she wrote it the same night she wrote Jolene. One evening, 2 songs, both of them immortal. Then Elvis Presley wanted to record it. Elvis. 1974. The biggest artist alive wants your song, and you're a 28-year-old country singer who just walked away from her only television platform. And Colonel Tom Parker calls and explains how it works. Elvis records it. Elvis's people take half the publishing. Forever. She said no. She went home and cried all night. She'll tell you that herself. She never pretended it was easy. But she did not give away half of that copyright. 18 years later, Whitney Houston recorded it, and it became one of the best-selling singles ever recorded, and every single time it played, anywhere on Earth, the money went to a woman from a cabin with no electricity in it. That one, "No," is worth more than most careers, and she kept doing it. She wrote 9 to 5 on a film set with no guitar available by clicking her acrylic fingernails together to build the rhythm, and then kept the nails in the final recording as an actual instrument, credited on the sleeve. It went to #1 on both the country and pop charts and got her an Oscar nomination. The blonde in the joke wrote a working-class anthem on her own hands. In 1986, she opened a theme park, not in Los Angeles or Nashville, but in the county she was born in, on purpose, so that the people she grew up with would have somewhere to work. And in 1995, she started mailing free books to children, 1 a month from birth to kindergarten to any child who signed up. Because her father couldn't read, he lived to see it, and the children took to calling her the book lady. And Dolly said that meant more to her father than her ever having been a star at all. The count passed 300 million. In 2020, she quietly put $1 million into research at Vanderbilt, and it helped fund the early stage of what became the Moderna vaccine. She barely mentioned it. Carl Dean died last year. She died today, 17 months later in Nashville. So here's what to keep. The wig was real, in the sense that she chose it. The character was a decision made by a poor girl who worked out very early that if people underestimate you, that is not an insult. That's a head start. She let the whole world laugh at the outfit while she quietly held on to her publishing, built a county's economy, and taught 300 million children to read. She wasn't the dumb blonde. She wrote the dumb blonde, and then she owned her.